Hey guys, it's Kenny here from the Fantasy Fanatics and the Fantasy Golf Degenerates, bringing you my cash game cornerstones for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Before we dig into this week's Pro-Am, let's take a look at last week's results for the Phoenix Open. You know, I went 3 out of 4 again and made cuts, with Russell Knox being my lone player that missed the cut. I was definitely not the only person on Russell Knox last week. He was close to 40%, 50% owned in cash games. A little bit surprising because he is a world-class golfer, but it's golf. It's what happens. My other 3 picks last week, were Jordan Spieth, who did his usual thing, finishing with a top 10, playing well. Brandon Steele was my next pick. He had a strong showing, finishing in 16th place. And my last pick was Scott Piercy, who made the cut but faded big time on the weekend, finishing in 73rd. If you went ahead and threw Berger and Phil Mickelson in with those 4 guys to round out this lineup, you would have cashed very, very easily, since only around 6% of lineups got 6 of 6 through. Unluckily for me, I went Castro and Bubba to miss the cash line, but we're back again this week to try and improve. This week we moved to the Monterey Peninsula in California for the AT&T Pro-Am from Pebble Beach. Golfers will be playing 3 different courses this week: Pebble Beach Golf Links, Monterey Peninsula Shore Course, and Spyglass Hill. Like the name of the tournament suggests, every golfer will be paired with an amateur for at least the first 3 days, and the cut will actually be after the 3rd round on Saturday. A little bit different on the cut. The top 70 and ties technically make the cut, but only top 60 and ties get to play the weekend. So the guys that make the cut but don't play, they still get paid. The final round is at Pebble Beach on Sunday. The weather can play a big factor this week, as the courses are right on or near the coast, so coastal winds and rain can really affect play. Also expect a long, drawn-out rounds while playing with the amateurs. It can be slightly frustrating for the pros, especially the ones who like to play quick, or especially ones who haven't played in this type of format before, where we're looking at 5 to 6 hour rounds. Some stats I'm looking for this week is going to be birdie or better percentage, par 5 scoring, proximity from 50 to 125 yards, and strokes gained approach. No driving stats this week for me, since nearly 70% of all drives land on the fairway here, mostly because most golfers are using less than driver on this course. So I think this sets up as a nice second shot course. With the strange format, long rounds, and difficult greens to putt on, I will be focusing more on course history than I normally do. Usually my course history when it comes to the spreadsheet is around 20%. This week I'm going to be weighing course history at 30%. I'm going to be weighting my key stats at 45%, and I'm going to be weighting recent form at 25%. If you want to see my expert model with how I divvy up all my stats and my rankings for all my golfers, go to thefantasyfanatics.com and go check it out. So let's move on to the picks. My first pick this week is going to be Phil Mickelson at $9,300. If you look at my expert model on the Fantasy Fanatics, you will see that he is my number 1 ranked golfer overall this week. Phil is a man of the people, so I don't think the fact that he's playing with all these AMs will affect him. He's had success in this tournament in the past with 4 victories and numerous made cuts. Stat-wise, he looks great. So far this year, he's 8th in birdie or better percentage, 40th in proximity from 50 to 125 yards, 20th in par 5 scoring, 7th in strokes gained approach, and 31st in strokes gained tee to green. Oh, and he's also 16th in strokes gained putting. I was a bit worried about him coming off the 2 hernia surgeries in the off season, but it looks like he has no lingering ill effects from it, and I think he is a safe play at $9,300. Next up, it's going to be Justin Rose at $9,200. Rose has been hot recently with a 2nd place finish at the Sony Open and a 4th place finish at the Farmers. He's only played this tournament once, and I know I said experience is key when it comes to this tournament, but he did finish 6th in his maiden voyage here last year, so I don't mind playing him. He comes in as my number 2 ranked golfer this week in my model. He makes a lot of birdies, plays par 5s well, and is solid from tee to green. I'm pretty sure he's playing with his fishing buddy Justin Timberlake, so he should feel comfortable out there. I can see people wanting to start with their cash lineups with either Spieth, Dustin Johnson, or Day in cash. I don't hate it. I don't like Day as much as the other two. But with a lack of real true cash game options, unlike last week, under $7,000, I like starting my cash lineup this week with Phil and Justin Rose, especially because their prices are very amenable. All right. Sorry about that. My next pick, it's going to be Patrick Reed at $8,300. Reed actually doesn't come up too high in my model on the fantasyfanatics.com, but I'm using him anyways for a few reasons. First off, his price. $8,300 seems somewhat cheap for this world-class golfer who's ranked inside the top 10. He also plays well here at Pebble Beach. In his last 4 appearances at this tournament, he has never finished outside the top 30, has 3 top 15s and 2 top 10s. He struggled a little bit on Sunday last week. I think he shot a 76 at Phoenix, which I'm hoping will keep his ownership down in GPPs because I will be heavy on him in both cash and GPPs this week. All right, so let's get to my final pick. It's going to be Sean OHair at $7,300. OHair has been consistent recently, making his last 10 cuts on tour with 6 top 25 finishes. He hasn't missed a cut at this tournament in his last 8 tries, and he has great stats for the course. 24th in birdie or better percentage, 2nd in proximity from 50 to 125, 21st in strokes gained approach, 26th in strokes gained tee to green, and 31st in strokes gained putting. His price seems very, very low, and I'll be using him both in cash games and GPPs this week. All right, so let's recap my 4 cash game cornerstone plays for this week. They are going to be Phil Mickelson at $9,300, Justin Rose at $9,200, Patrick Reed at $8,300, and Sean OHair at $7,300. This will leave you close to $16,000 left, so plenty of wiggle room to put whoever else you want on those other 2 spots. If you're looking for value plays, there are some chalky plays in the 7K range. Shane Lowry comes to mind. Matt Jones comes to mind. Cameron Smith comes to mind. I think they're all viable options. Also, just take a peek at Vaughn Taylor at $6,900. He is the defending champion. He doesn't get that much name recognition, but he's made all 7 of his cuts so far this year in the 2016-2017 season. And the last time he was a defending champion at a tournament, which was, I think, the Reno Tahoe Open way back in, 04, he won it again in 05. So he defended his title. I mean, it's a big-time narrative. I doubt it happens this week, but, it's something to look at. All right, guys, that was fun. Good luck this week. Remember to check out the Fantasy Fanatics for the expert models, the Strategy Center, the cheat sheet, basically everything you need all in one site. It's definitely worth the money, definitely worth the subscription. Once again, good luck, win some money, and I'll see you again next week.